In this video, I will show you the most effective change management strategic playbook to increase adoption for your AI implementation. After Steve Jobs retired from Apple and Tim Cook became CEO, I was brought on as a change management consultant to support Apple's digitization transformation. The OCM playbook for AI implementation that we will be going over today is a similar playbook that I use for change management successes at Apple. Here's the free change management strategic playbook for you to use to increase your AI implementation successes. At the end of today's video, I will show you how to access and download this playbook and start using it today. When you click to access this playbook, you will come to this slide here. And what this slide presents is a table of content, including start here. It is very important that you start here. And then it provides you with an overview of the strategic playbook itself. And then when you look at the other section of the slide, you will notice we have the individual strategies for individual change management deliverables. So for example, communication. There are key communication strategies for you to implement. Engagement, AI engagement, when engaging with impacted users and stakeholders that will be impacted by the AI implementation. There are some strategies you should implement to increase user engagement. There will also be resistance to your AI implementation. I'm talking about resistance. Check this out. According to a recent MIT report, 95% of AI projects are failing. So just think about that. Out of 100% of projects, only 5 of them are succeeding. And what is interesting is this. MIT reported that this wasn't a technology failure. Rather, it's an execution failure that is causing 95% of AI projects to fail. And a big part of that execution failure is a lack of organizational change management. And so it is very important for you to take a look at this AI risk, resistance, opposition mitigation strategies that we've included in this strategic playbook. Sponsor engagement, the AI sponsor engagement is also important because a lot of times what I've seen as a change management consultant and helping to do change management for a wide range of AI implementation, what I've identified is this. A lot of sponsors believe all they have to do is sign the check and they don't have to do no more. But that is not correct. So I have to educate and coach sponsors to let them know that they need to play a more visible role to help increase adoption for the AI implementation. And we will go over those strategies with you today. An AI change champion network is very critical. So we've included the strategies for identifying good champions, establishing a champion network and doing your kickoff, and also managing champions. AI change management KPIs, it is also important for you to track your metrics and also your KPIs to ensure that individuals that are impacted by the AI implementation, that they are adopting the changes. And we will go over those strategies. Training is another one. Even though you would expect AI to be easy to learn and just follow along, that is not the case. You have to understand that we are changing mindsets. And so providing training for the AI rollout is very, very important. And so we will go over the strategies for effective training. All right. So let us click on where it says start here. And here we have included the different steps as well as things you should know for using the strategic playbook. We also recommend that you conduct your initial assessments if you haven't done so already. Those include doing a risk assessment to identify where potential resistance might be existing currently, as well as potential departments or potential groups or potential individuals that will be resisting the change. Doing an impact assessment to identify which groups are impacted. And it's not just as simple as saying this group will be impacted. Well, how are they impacted? Low impact, mid impact, high impact? You should know those because that actually impacts your training and communications and other change management deliverables. You want to do a communication needs assessment. Very, very important. A lot of times, project and change management individuals, they don't do a communication needs assessment, which is a mistake. Doing a communication needs assessment allows you to identify which groups need to receive communication. What types of communications do they need to receive? AKA, what are the objectives of those communications? Also, who should be sending out those communications to those groups? How do the groups like to be communicated with? You need to be able to assess all of those to ensure that you are implementing an effective communication campaign. The same thing with a training needs assessment. Not every group will be impacted the same. Not every group needs to be trained the same way. So you need to do a training needs assessment. Change champion and sponsor needs are also assessments that you have to do to better understand which groups need the highest amount of change champions. How equipped is your sponsor to advocate for the change? You have to do that assessment. And then customize this playbook. So we have included a best-in-class organizational change management strategic playbook for you to increase your AI implementation successes. But we also realize that you will need to customize this playbook to make it more relevant to your audience. A key part of a strategic playbook is for you to be able to communicate this playbook to your stakeholders and also your leaders. And so when they are looking at some of the slides, you want to ensure you are using language that resonates with people within your organization. And we are going to be going over a lot of things today, and that's okay. It can be overwhelming, but that's fine. Why? Because I have also created a step-by-step checklist for you to follow along. And that checklist is embedded in this strategic playbook. The link is here for you to download the checklist. We've also included this instructions slide where we say we've included sample images, sample data. You don't have to use these sample images. You can replace them with images from your organization. Also, the OCMS logo, it's okay. You can replace it with your own logo. That's fine. We've created this for the change management community and the project management community. Now we get to the strategic playbook. So everything that I just went over are slides for you, the person using this playbook. Here is the playbook. And when you socialize this playbook with others, you can remove all of the slides above and just start from here. For your AI strategies, there are 7 key areas. One of them is your AI communication strategy. And here we have outlined best-in-class strategies for you to follow. So for your AI communication, you want to apply a multi-pronged approach, and I will go over this in detail. For engaging with users and stakeholders that will be impacted by the AI, we recommend doing roadshows. And roadshows does not have to be in person, does not have to be you getting on a plane. No, virtual roadshows are things you can do, but you have to do roadshows so that people can have the opportunity to learn more about what is changing, how does it impact them, what are the benefits of the AI platform that is being implemented, what is the risk of not changing. AI tools are increasing people's personalities, not personalities, people's productivity. Maybe it's actually improving their personality. Who knows? But AI tools are improving people's productivity. For example, I've seen individuals in the marketing department or legal department or IT who have said, Microsoft Copilot that was being implemented in their organization was able to do things in 5 minutes that normally took the team 22 hours to do. Let's just reflect on that. Microsoft Copilot for M365 was able to do something in 5 minutes that took the team over half a week to do. That is one big example of how beneficial AI is. Other organizations are implementing ChatGPT. Other organizations are implementing AI for CRM, as well as AI for ERP or AI for the human capital management, HCM software. There is a lot of benefits to AI, and you want to ensure that you are communicating these benefits when you are out, when you're doing a roadshow, when you're doing a town hall, when you're conducting a briefing session. You also want to ask your change champions, sponsors, to communicate the benefits of the AI that is being implemented. Resistance. Every project experiences some form of resistance or the other. AI projects, though, are experiencing the highest level of resistance because there's a lot of fear. Will AI replace me? Will AI replace my job? And before we continue, let's go over something that I normally tell my change management consulting clients, as well as the managers and practitioners that I coach to do the best level of change management. And here it is. AI will not replace humans. Humans using AI will replace humans who are not using AI. This is the new reality in a lot of organizations. It is a key message, so please take a screenshot of this. It is a key message for you to communicate to your stakeholders as well as your sponsors for them to really understand. AI is not going to replace people. People using AI and leveraging AI will be the ones replacing people who are not leveraging AI. And so when you communicate AI, make sure you communicate the benefit of AI to everyone in your organization. Next, let us discuss your sponsor engagement strategy. When you are presenting your end-to-end change management strategies for AI, you want to present this slide as it is considered an all-in-one slide. A lot of leaders and senior executives, they appreciate when I show them this one slide versus walking them through every single slide in this document. Senior executives, their attention to detail is, let's just say it's at a high level, okay? And so if you are able to provide them with what is called a one slider, which is what we are looking at here, where everything it's presented, it makes it easy for them to be able to take this slide and also share it with whoever they want to share it with. So for your sponsors, you want to ensure that your strategy involves supporting your sponsor and coaching your sponsor to play a more visible and active role to becoming an advocate, a strong advocate for the AI implementation. Your change champion network, you also need strategies for champions. So when communicating with your leaders, you want to tell them your strategy will involve identifying champions, establishing a champion network, and also managing the champions. Your leaders will ask, what are the roles and responsibilities of a champion? Don't worry, we have you covered. This deck does include that information. Let's go on to the next strategy, your change management KPIs and metrics strategy. You want to communicate to your leadership that you have a strategy for tracking adoption. And you can list out some of those things that you will be doing to track adoption. We will go over all of these things with you as part of this video. Another strategy you want to communicate to your leadership is training. Once again, AI might seem easy, but it is not really a technology change. It's really a mindset change. That's why projects fail. They think it's a technology change. No, you are asking people to change how they do things. It's a mindset change. And so you have to train people. You have to give people the opportunity to ask questions. So to tell you, I'm using the AI and it's giving me the wrong information, or I'm using an AI and it's telling me it cannot do XYZ, or I'm using an AI and it just broke. Well, if you don't give people office hours or training or learning opportunities, they're not going to be able to understand how to walk around those issues that AI sometimes have, including hallucinating. Okay? So ensure that you're providing training. You're telling people how AI interacts with their organizational data. You're showing people how secure AI is, in that the prompts they are providing to AI doesn't get shared with others. Any conversation they're having with AI is just really a conversation between them and AI. Also educating them that AI has access to the depending on the AI. So, for example, if it is an M365 Copilot AI implementation, well, Copilot has access to people's OneDrive. You have to tell people, in order for Copilot to provide a good response to them, the files they want AI to review should be included in their OneDrive. People save files to their local drive, and then they ask Copilot to go find those files to summarize them. Well, Copilot cannot find them because they are not in the OneDrive. This is just one of many examples of things you have to educate people about. There is also the difference between the classic Outlook and the new Outlook in regards to how you can use Copilot. People need to be educated about all of those. So as part of your strategies, you want to include educational opportunities, training, and also learning. So here are some of the big buckets of things that help increase your AI implementation change successes. So you want to do a quick round of initial change assessments. You want to provide effective communications. You want to conduct interactive sessions. You want to implement change management AI playbooks, aka this playbook. You want to provide training and also briefings. You want to track your AI implementation change management successes. Very quickly, here is how people go through change, and this one impacts how they go through AI adoption. People want awareness about the AI, including what are the benefits of this AI? Why now? What is the risk of not changing? What are the next steps? What is the roadmap for implementing the AI? Also, people need to get to a stage where they say, I have a desire to adopt your AI platform. What helps with increasing desire? WIFM. WIFM is WIIFM, which stands for, you guessed it, what's in it for me? It is human nature to think or to speak what's in it for me whenever they are faced with a change. Also, conducting interactive sessions, town halls, meetings, roadshows, one on ones to give people the opportunity to ask questions or to voice concerns helps you to increase a desire for people to want to adopt the changes. Here's something else. People don't like changes happening to them. They prefer when changes is happening with them. So you want to present your approach as a partnership. You're not shoving AI down people's throats. Rather, you are implementing AI in partnership with people, including the change champions. You also, as much as possible, want to personalize your change, including communications and training, and also engagement. When I implement AI that includes Microsoft M365 Copilot or AI for ERP or CRM, like AI for Oracle Cloud, SAP S4HANA, I normally try to implement change management at a personalized level. So, for example, if there are 6 departments that are part of the AI implementation pilot, sales, legal, compliance could be 3 of the a list of departments that are part of the pilot. When doing communications, it's best to send out individual communications to those different groups. That way, you are using personalized language. It's not always going to be possible because of bandwidth. You might not really have the time or the resources to do things at the individual level, but doing things at the individual and personalized level, and when I say individual, I don't mean person by person, I mean persona. So sales could be one persona, legal could be one persona. There could be 50 people that are part of the legal pilot team within your organization. All of those 50 people, when you are communicating with them, you want to use legal type of language in the communication and also in the training. For your training for the legal department, you want to use cases and prompts that reflect a normal legal type of transaction that legal teams normally do. The same thing with sales. The prompt should reference sales types of use cases. If you have a marketing department that is part of the pilot, when providing communications and training, you want to include marketing types of use cases that a marketing person will want to do. The same thing with human resources. They do talent, they do recruiting. So your use cases should include things that are personalized to each department. That has allowed me to increase my successes when I am doing change management for a wide range of organizations that are implementing AI. Providing knowledge is another key aspect. People want awareness, they need to have desire, and then they need to have knowledge. So you have to provide them with that level of training. And then give them the opportunity to go practice. And then tell them, show up to office hours if you have questions. Support them, provide them with FAQs, provide them with resources. What are office hours? Office hours are basically sessions that you schedule and you let people know those sessions have been scheduled. And any one of the impacted individuals can join the office hours. Office hours are normally 30 minutes to 60 minutes. You can have one office hours a week, you can have two, you can have three, or you can have more. It really depends on how many people you have conducting change management or project management, as well as how many champions. You can also leverage the champions to conduct office hours. Most times, though, champions prefer that they play a supporting role and you and the team are the ones doing the office hours, which is okay. Because there's so many things that the champions have to adopt. Now expecting them to be the ones driving the office hours normally just really makes them concerned. Months later, they can be the ones doing office hours for their department. Months later, not tomorrow. Just keep that in mind, please. So do office hours, provide support to people, provide FAQs, and also follow up. And then you want to reinforce the new AI behavior. So you want to follow up with people. Do people need additional AI training? Do people need additional AI coaching? You want to continue to provide additional AI office hours and also measure your KPIs. Here's an issue for you to keep in mind. A lot of organizations today have a situation where there are many projects that are happening and impacting the same audience. But that's not the only issue. This issue is compounded because a lot of the project and change management teams are using a siloed approach. So you might have a situation where 5 communications are going to the same department, the same impacted audience, on the same day or the same week, or training from all these different departments are impacting the same audience. And so, what is the result of all of this? Well, people feel overwhelmed. They feel change fatigue and they feel change saturation, which leads to increased resistance, disengagement. And in some cases, when I'm doing change management consulting, I've noticed that the organization has lost people just because there's so many siloed projects that are impacting the same audience. Here's an example of a change saturation level that is impacting your organization, most likely. Why do I say that? Because a lot of organizations are experiencing what you are looking at here on my screen. So take a screenshot. Your VPs are currently experiencing between a high to a very high level of change saturation, meaning there is a lot of projects that are impacting your VPs that they have to adopt. The same thing with your directors and managers, supervisors, and mid-level managers, as well as your frontline employees. They are all experiencing between high to a very high level change saturation. I have done a lot of change saturation assessments across different organizations. Organizations hire me to do change management, and one of the first things I do is a change saturation assessment. Understanding this picture helps me and helps you implement the right change management strategies and approach to ensure that personas or departments that are experiencing high to very high change saturation, that you are not adding to their existing saturation. As an example, you want to be intentional when engaging with these high to very high level change saturation personas. If you're going to communicate or engage with supervisors and mid-level managers, rather than scheduling one more meeting, identify existing meetings that these individuals join, that you can join to present information about your change management changes in regards to the AI implementation, or for you to communicate the benefits of the AI, or for you to ask questions. That's one of many strategies that I advise my change management clients to do to ensure that they are not adding to the existing change saturation level. The higher the change saturation, the more resistance you will run into. It's not just personas that experience a high to a very high level change saturation. Within your organization and other organizations, here is the picture that are impacting departments. And this is based on a general consensus where I have done change saturation assessments across many organizations, and really it's the same picture that I identify. Human resources are experiencing a very high level change saturation, especially with AI being implemented. Finance and accounting, they're going from a high to a very high. Marketing and operations, very high. Facilities, low. Product management, high to very high. IT, very high. Sales, very high. Legal compliance, mid to high. Eventually, we expect legal and compliance to move from a mid to high to a high to a very high change saturation level, just because there's a lot of AI tools that are being implemented for legal and compliance departments. Research and development is another one, currently very high. We expect that range to go from just a high to very high. So go ahead and take a screenshot of this. That way you can communicate the situation to your leadership as this average change saturation level that is impacting a lot of organizations, and most likely your own organization. And so leaders across different organizations normally ask me, hey, Obi, what is the solution to all of this portfolio level change saturation? How can organizations mitigate the impact from this change saturation? And one of the things I help these organizations establish is a centralized office that includes change management and also project management. You can consider this like a PMO, a centralized PMO that is a control tower that helps all of these different projects land and take off without conflicting or running into each other and impacting the same audience. One of the things I do when I stand up this control tower is I advise and I help the different project leads consolidate what they are looking to implement from a change management perspective. For example, Project 1, Project 5, Project 10. All three projects are about to send out a communication next week to legal. Legal is going to be bombarded next week by 3 different communications. I will recommend to the change leads, how about all 3 of you consolidate your communication into one? It doesn't have to be a super extremely long communication either, right? You want to break the communication into sections. You want to use bullet points. You want to be succinct. You also want to include images. It allows people to really grasp the message, even though it is a communication that involves messaging for 3 different projects. People still get all of the 3 different messages by reading that same one communication. Another example is Project 3, Project 6, Project 9. They're about to do a roadshow, individual roadshows. And the sales department will be invited to all of these 3 different roadshows that is happening next week. Well, sales is already experiencing a high level of change saturation, and now you want them to go take the time off to go attend 3 different roadshows. So what I recommend as part of this control tower is how about all three of these different projects, they consolidate their roadshows into one and still communicate their messaging, but make it more impactful and more concise. That's a great benefit of a control tower. Here is one more before we move on. Even if it's not possible to consolidate things, it's not always going to be possible. But if you know that 3 or 4 different projects are about to do something to the same audience around the same time, well, you can recommend how about you use a cadenced approach, spread out your activities so all of you are not impacting the same audience at the same time. This is another benefit of having a control tower. If you're interested in having a control tower established for your organization, reach out to me. Now, let's go on to the next, your change impact assessment for AI. You want to ensure that you are conducting an effective change impact assessment so you can identify the severity of impact. Is it low? Is it mid? Is it high? And then what you want to do is prioritize the organizations that are impacted at a high level. For your communication, we recommend that you apply a hybrid approach, meaning that you implement a top-down and a bottom-up hybrid approach. For the top-down, the change and the project team are giving communications to leaders and managers and asking them, please cascade these communications to your departments, to the end users. For the bottom up, the change and the program team are sending up communication to everybody, all of the impacted users, including end users, leaders, and managers. And then you have the hybrid, which is a hybrid of the top down and also the bottom up. And here's an example. The change team can be sending out invitations for training. They can be sending out go live is next week. They can be sending up get ready communications, countdown communications. Leaders and managers should not be sending training invites or countdown communications, right? Leaders, though, should be sending down awareness communication. What's in it for people? What are the benefits of the AI implementation? What is the roadmap they should impacted users should expect? What's in it for people? All of those should be packaged under communications that leaders and managers send out. So in a way, leaders and managers should be cascading strategic level communications. Change and program teams should be sending up tactical types of communications. When presenting to your leadership, you also want to provide them with these AI communication channels, this table that includes the different channels you will be using to communicate your AI, for example, videos, podcasts, newsletters, direct emails. Other examples could be if your organization has a social media channel. It could also be leadership or sponsor communications and physical bulletins. We also provide recommendations in regards to the frequency, but these are all recommendations. When you are doing your communication needs assessment, and if you need help in doing your communication needs assessment, don't hesitate to reach out to me, or you could also leave a comment below. And in addition to your communication needs assessment, you might also want to do that training needs assessment. So if you really need help, a more detailed coaching or hands-on help with any aspect of change management, don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can visit our website, and you can send me a direct email. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn. Okay. Now, let's move on to a little bit of information you should know about engagement. For engagement, we recommend implementing a two-way communication channel that involves you communicating and also receiving feedback. That can involve an anonymous feedback form. That can involve doing things like a kickoff event. Hey everyone, we are rolling out this AI. We have a kickoff event where we are going to communicate to you, provide you with information about the benefits of the AI, what it means for you, how it impacts you at a high level, of course. That's what the kickoff event involves. The kickoff event also involves the roadmap, where you tell people over the next couple of weeks or the next couple of months, here's what you should expect. You also want to do focused AI implementation briefings. So, for example, I mentioned some specific departments that could be part of your impacted AI list of departments. If they have a high level impact, you want to consider having a focused briefing session for those departments. Doing roadshows and also town halls are things you want to implement as part of your engagement to help increase excitement about the AI. Interactive workshops are where you go over some of the key AI components and you don't really have to do a deep dive into training. You want to let people know this is a workshop. We are going to focus at the high level. We will provide you with training weeks from now or months from now. That way, people don't get confused and expect the workshop to be a training session. No. The workshop involves telling people things like, here is how AI will interact with your data. Here is how you can prompt AI, the best prompt practices. Here's what you need to know about using the AI, right, at a high level. Feedback sessions, having small groups where people tell you or people provide you with a reaction to the AI. Champion meetings are ways you can have that interactive engagement. I mentioned support calls. You want to conduct AI support calls where people are running into issues, they can get help. If they have questions, they can hop on a support call and then hop off when their question is answered. The same thing with virtual Q&A, AI implementation session. We recommend that you do that. Stakeholder roundtables are another option for you to implement. All right, let's pause for a second. Let me present another question that I get from practitioners when I'm coaching them to implement AI. Obi, do you mean we have to do every single one of these? No, you don't. Just relax. So what I am presenting to you is the portfolio. It's like a toolkit of change management best practices. Based on the scale and the scope of your AI implementation, you can now decide which of these tools to take from the portfolio or to take from the toolbox to use for your own AI implementation adoption successes. So take a look at this slide. It has 6 key rounds of deliverables. You might say, you know what? My team, we don't have the bandwidth. Or you might say, I'm the only project or change manager. I can do all of this, which is fine. You might say, I might be able to do the change champion meetings. Or you might say, I might be able to do the drop-in support calls, right? It's really up to you. This is a flexible strategic playbook. Let's continue. You also want to include a table that you will be using for your different channels. So if you decide that I only want to do one or two things, include that in this table and say, here are the two things, two engagement channels we're going to use. One of them is going to involve champion meetings. The other one is going to involve a kickoff event. But it is important for your leadership to at least see the channels that you are planning to use and why you're planning to use them, as well as the frequency. Your leaders do not have to see the entire toolkit or the entire portfolio, right? So even if you're just presenting them with two things or three things, they're not going to say, I saw a video that Obi was presenting that had 10 or 12 things on it. No, they are going to focus on the two or three things. They're going to say, great, you, as in you watching this video, your leaders will say, okay, we see that you have a plan. That's really what they are more concerned about, not how many things you have on your channels that you're going to be using. The next one is resistance management. We recommend a proactive and also a reactive strategy. A proactive strategy involves talking to stakeholders, talking to champions, and saying and asking questions. Where do you expect resistance to show up, and how can you plan ahead to ensure resistance does not show up? That is you being proactive. And you can proactively address resistance not showing up by implementing effective change management, communications and engagement and support. Reactive approach to mitigating AI resistance involves when you already have identified resistance to AI, in which case you want to implement strategies to mitigate that identified resistance. Sponsor engagement is another key one. Your AI sponsors should be coached and supported and equipped for them to go play a visible role and advocate for the AI implementation. So you want to provide them with talking points. You want to provide them with slides for them to use to communicate. You want to recommend that they attend all hands or executive briefings or join the Change Champion workshop to help kick off the Change Champion network. Leadership events happen within every organization. And so you can tell your sponsor, hey, for the next leadership event, can you provide a few commentary to the leaders to provide them with a status update on how the AI implementation is progressing, and also tell the leaders where help is most needed from them. Department meetings where your sponsor can also show up. All hands meetings, your sponsor can ask to be invited so they can provide a few commentaries about the AI implementation. Change Champion networks are very critical to AI implementation successes. So you want to identify champions that are excited about change. You want to conduct your kickoff session. You want to provide the change champions with support. You want to conduct engagement sessions so they can ask questions, and you can provide them with more hands-on support and also engagement. You also want to reward your champions. This is very, very important. So here we're talking about number 6. You also want to equip your champions with regular communications for them to cascade to their team members. And then you want to, on a regular basis, reassess the effectiveness of your champions. Sometimes you will find out some individuals, they go MIA, which is missing in action. No matter how many times you send them an email, they don't respond as quickly as they used to do in the beginning, and they don't attend meetings, or they just say, too many times they say they have a conflict. You want to replace them. You want to do it from a respectful and a partnership perspective. You want to say, for example, we understand that you are very busy. You've been very busy for the last couple of weeks and months. We would like to get somebody to support you or uh, somebody to replace you. Do you have anybody in mind you recommend? Right? So make it a partnership kind of situation. All right. So next, let's discuss AI change management KPIs strategies. For your AI change management implementation KPIs, you want to leverage surveys. But check this out. A lot of organizations are experiencing survey fatigue. Most likely, your organization also is experiencing survey fatigue. There is a way around this to help increase your success. When you have meetings with people or briefings or training, at the end, you want to just ask people, hey, everyone, can you please, as we are all on the call or we are all in the same place, open your laptop and click on this link and complete this survey. You have a captive audience, and that is the best time for you to do the survey versus sending out a survey via email. So if you want to know why your surveys that you send by emails are not getting much receptiveness, now you know your organization is suffering from survey fatigue. AI communication KPIs. So when you send out emails, you can track how many people are opening those emails, how long are they spending on those emails, what is the click-through rate, what does the link click-through rate mean? It means when you include a link in the email, depending on the email platform your organization is using, you might be able to track how many people are clicking on links within that email. Something else is post AI training survey. So if it's an LMS, basically a web-based training, at the end of the training, before people exit, you can include a survey of 4 to 5 questions. If it's an in-person, most times when people join a training session, they normally have their phones or their laptop. So you can just send everyone a link. They can click on that link and then provide answers to the survey before people exit. You also want to leverage AI change engagement KPI. So track attendance. You invited 100 people, 90 of them showed up. That is a 90% attendance rate. That is great. Anything below 70% is not good. Also, during the engagement session, how many people are talking? Is it just the same 2 to 3 people, or is it a higher number of people? The higher the number, the more successful your change engagement KPIs will be. You can also do AI focus groups where you are talking to a small group of people or champions and you're asking them adoption level questions. How are your team members adopting the AI? Things like that. If you are sending out podcasts and videos, you should be able to track how many people are visiting your organization's website to view the podcasts and also the videos. Your change management website that includes information about the AI platform, that includes communications, that includes FAQs, that includes resources, learning resources. You can track how many views is your website getting, and you can add all of those to your overall AI organizational change management KPIs and metrics. You could also track, let's skip to number 10 here. You can track resistance. Is it dropping? If so, you want to make sure you are including that in your overall report to your leadership. What if the opposite is happening? You also should communicate that, but tell your leaders how you plan to address and reduce the rising resistance. And that brings us to your training strategies for rolling out your AI platform. For your AI training strategy, remember the AI training needs assessment that I mentioned. You want to conduct that. You want to identify the level of training the different groups will need, the duration for providing that training, how impacted groups like to be trained. Some groups prefer virtual, some groups prefer in person, some groups prefer LMS. You want to make sure you ask champions, ask SMEs within those groups, how do you all like to receive training? And then you want to develop your AI curriculum. You want to ensure that you're using targeted use cases. We recommend where possible, emphasis on where possible, because once again, you might not have the resources or the bandwidth, but where possible, conduct training for employees, AI training for employees, separate AI training for managers, and separate AI training for leaders. You also want to implement a post-training survey. So before people exit the training, have them complete a survey. And then follow up with people. Here is an area where change practitioners make the mistake and they run into problems with their AI implementation. They don't follow up to see if people need additional training. So make sure you follow up, you provide refresher sessions, you provide Q&A sessions, and you also provide support calls sessions. Continue to evaluate your AI training effectiveness. Whether you are leading a major AI implementation like Microsoft Copilot or ChatGPT or Gemini or an ERP, a CRM, a HCM AI implementation within your organization, a structured change management approach is critical to your success. And that is why we have created this free AI change management strategic playbook. It is designed for leaders, project managers, and change practitioners who are driving AI implementation to help them and you drive successful change implementation with confidence. Now, I know a lot of you have been asking, hey, Obi, how do we have access to this free change management strategic playbook for AI implementation? Here's what I want everyone to do. I want all of you to follow along. Click on the link below this video that says free trial all-in-one change management software. When you click on that all-in-one change management free trial link, it will bring you to this page. First thing is this. We are giving you and everyone else watching this video a free 14-day trial. After you create an account, you can also add your colleagues for them to also access this platform, download the free resources, and also try out the platform to see if it is something your organization will benefit from. You want to go ahead and enter your first name, enter your last name, enter your email. Phone number, you can leave blank. It is really for two-way factor authentication. Enter your company name or just your last name. And then enter your first project name. A lot of times, people just enter first project, which is fine. and then click on I am not a robot. Now I know and I assume you are not a robot, but go ahead and click here anyway, and then click on start my free trial. And then the system will create a free account for you. Okay, and here we go. So when it creates your account, it will bring you to the main dashboard. What you want to do is on the left, scroll to where it says free resources. Click on that. And it will bring you to this free resources page. As you can see, we have over 100 free resources for change managers, for project managers, and change management teams. For the purpose of today's video, you want to scroll down to where it says OCM playbooks, this one here. Click on it. And here you will see the playbook for a strategic playbook for just regular change management. And you will see the strategic playbook for AI implementation. You can click on this. These two playbooks are very similar, so you can click on either one of them to download. And then I get people asking, hey, Obi, what about the other free resources? You can download every single one, right? So for example, let's go up here to communications. You notice we have many sample communications that you can send out to provide awareness. You can send out follow-up communications, communications to managers to request champions, invitations to kickoffs, many communications. What about engagements and briefings? We also have free resources that you can download. Change impact assessment, we have free templates for you to download. Change roadmaps, we also have those that provide step-by-step all your different change management activities, as well as the timeline for implementing those activities. Tracking change management strategic KPIs, we have free resources. When a change management team is done with the project, there is normally that exit and transition phase. We've also provided you with resources for all of those. Change champions, we provided you with invitations, we provided you with awareness communications, we provided you with all of the different things you need to identify champions, kick off the champion network, and also manage the champion network. What about managers and leaders? We provided you with free resources to support and also coach managers and leaders to help them be effective change agents. Here is how you can add other members of your team. You click on user management and it will bring you here. It will show you one user, which is you. Here where it says create user, you want to click on it. And for your free trial, you can add up to 9 additional people. So for the free trial, 10 people per account. If you all decide to subscribe, then you can have unlimited number of people added to your account. To invite somebody, just add their first name, their last name, their email, the user role. You can select admin, so they can do everything except manage subscription. So if you guys decide to subscribe, admins are not able to subscribe on behalf of the team. So you might want to consider making 1 or 2 people account owners. There can be multiple account owners. There can be multiple admins. Enter a username for your team members. So for example, if you have somebody called Jane Doe and you enter the email, so let's say Jane Doe's email is jane@yourcompany.com, and you want to make Jane Doe admin. The username for Jane Doe could be Jane 123. Okay. Or it could be Jane.doe.123. And then you can enter Jane Doe's title, or you can leave it blank. So it could be change manager, or you can leave it blank, and then click on create user. And then you add the next user and the next user and the next user. So that is how you add users to your account. That way, other members of your team can access this change management software and get value from it. So we provided you at a high level all of the different things you need to know to deliver effective change management for your organization. So go ahead and watch the next video and continue to increase your success. And don't forget to like this video so I know that you found it valuable. And by liking this video, the algorithm will recommend the video to others. That way more people can find value from this change management strategic playbook video. And also don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more content.